Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome back to Untold Truth. It's your boy Reese, and today we have
Nerissa.
Reese and Rissa. We still here in Dream Week. Uh, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps.
And comment down below.
Yeah, comment down below. That helps the algorithm. It helps to spread on YouTube, on this platform. We can't do it without you, so we need you. Like, share, subscribe,
Yes.
and comment. Of course, comment. Okay, we have my lovely wife, Rissa. We don't have to put her up on the screens because she's here with me. So we got her here. Rissa today is going to share her dream, or a couple of her dreams that she was having, and we're going to let her talk about how she came to those dreams, and all of those things. But it's important because it was the communication that we were getting to be prepared and get prepared. It supplemented the communications that I was having with my family on what we need to be prepared for. So it was a real good thing that not only was I getting dreams, but my wife was getting dreams as well. So it wasn't a big conflict. It wasn't a big contradiction in our household, because she was getting the dreams too. So it was easier to be able to communicate with our children and with the family, because we were both hearing from God. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over, honey, so you can share your dream.
Okay. Hello, everybody. For me, what started happening was I was having these different dreams. And one of the dreams was a scene where it was as if we were in a familiar place, not far from home, and but we weren't at our physical house, but we were in the surrounding area, and we was at a gathering. There were a lot of people there, and it was a nice, beautiful day outside. It was daytime, sun out, and where we were at was kind of elevated, and in the distance you could see that a bomb had dropped. And you could see the fire and the smoke literally coming up. And my husband and I, we looked at each other, and we got into our SUV and began to flee. We began to drive really fast, and as we were driving, the scene changed to whereas the original scene was like at a industrial maybe type place, maybe it was buildings around, and then when we began to flee, in the next moment you blink, we were in the woods, in a wooded area, on the road. And then out of nowhere, these two people came, like, I don't know where they came from, but it was like out of the sky or out of the woods. They came. It reminded me of the Matrix. And they were dressed in black. One was male, one was female, and they had long capes, but all in black. And I was, out of the passenger window fighting off. But as I was fighting, I was pleading the blood of Jesus, and I was using the weapons of my warfare. And my husband was like literally like driving, or I would come and hold the steering wheel, and he would have to fight off the individual, the man that was on his side that was attacking us. But we were fleeing, we were running and trying to flee from the dangerous situation. So that's one dream that was so real. Another dream that I had was, it was just little dreams here and there. There were bits and pieces, and I would have them over the course of different times throughout the years. And one dream would be where we had to flee somewhere else, and we were hiding in an abandoned building. And and it was like we were there with different families and different people, but we were hiding, trying to escape from whatever it was we needed to escape from. On another dream, we were in another dream, it was a similar situation where once again we were trying to get away and flee, but it was like we were being chased. It was like an old school building, and we were going up the stairs. And as we were going up the stairs, people was, had the big guns, the automatic guns. Chasing after us, but we were always trying to flee and run for safety. So it was just that urgency and that burden to prepare that, a lot of us from the teachings down through the years have always been under the impression if you live right, you live holy, you do what you're supposed to do, you don't straddle the fence. When it gets bad, before it gets so bad or bad at all, we're going to be raptured out of here. We're going to be caught up to be out of here. And in this dream, I didn't understand it. At first, like, well, why do we keep having these dreams? Why do I have to flee? Why am I running? Why am I having to go in hiding if I'm going to be raptured? All my life I was told if I live right, I'll be caught up and I wouldn't have to experience any of that. But for over a course of 6 years, I would say I was having these dreams. So we had been married for roughly about 3 years or so, and that's when the dream, maybe 7 years. So maybe 2 to 3 years we were married, and the dream started happening over the course of 7 years. And I never could understand that in the last dream. I think you remember it a little bit more than me, but the one where we were just running and there was like a lot of Africans with us and leading us. But this particular scene, we were outside and it was people that were in a jail-like setting, but it was outside with the fence and the barbed wire. And it just wasn't a good feeling. There were people that were locked up, but there were some of us that were able to still get away, and constantly being chased, constantly running for our life.
Yeah, and I think in that particular dream, there was an African boy that was with us, that was running with us. And I remember kind of what I had gathered when you had shared that dream. It was that the persecution that we are aware of that is abroad,
right,
was coming to us.
Yes.
That's what I remember. That was a takeaway. It was years ago that she did have this dream, and that we talked about it. And I remember that was prevalent to me, that there is much persecution that goes on in Africa. I know this to be true. In fact, they get killed and persecuted against. And this dream, it was, she could see this African boy, and then she could see that we were together with them and we're running and fleeing from persecution. So it's really interesting. And like I said, as I'm receiving dreams and or visions and or just communication from the Lord on persecution, get prepared, get ready for what you have to go through. She was having these same dreams at that same time, along with others.
Yes.
And I do plan on getting even more people than you're going to even see this week. We're going to do this again as I try to get others that I know had these dreams prior to us being in the position we are in today and seeing things unfold the way we see them today. So stay tuned, continue to watch this Dream Week. Did you have any other things you wanted to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it is real, and that God is just, and God is loving, God is faithful, and before destruction comes, there's always warning, and God has always done that for his people. He has always tried to warn them and give them opportunity to get prepared. And I think that this is not the time that we should take things lightly or for granted, or be so stuck on how things have been said down through the years. And I'm not at fault, and I'm not upset with anybody, because for that time they gave us what we needed, and to help us ultimately to make it into heaven. But I don't want us to be so stuck and starch on this is how it was, this is how it's been taught, this is my understanding, and it can be no other way. God is merciful, and he gives us opportunity, and I just hope and pray that you take heed and prepare yourselves and get ready. Prepare yourselves in the natural as well as in the spiritual. Prepare your bodies, prepare your mind, prepare in your how do you prepare your bodies? By what you're eating, your diet, your exercise. How do you prepare spiritually? By praying, by fasting, and going further than what you may have already. These are not the times to take it lightly or for granted. As you see, this world is not like it was even when I was a little girl.
Yeah, and just to clarify on what she was just talking about, there's no new belief that we have or new doctrine, right, that we have. However, it was strongly urged upon us through teaching from our elders, about the rapture, and how the rapture was going to come prior to heavy persecution, prior to the mark of the beast being implemented in the earth and other things going on, and by the dreams, vision, and what we read in the Bible, we're seeing things differently than what we may have been taught. And I took on the responsibility of teaching my family, listen, we have to be ready to go through. And my wife at times would say, we're not going through that. None of that stuff is going to happen to us. We're going to be gone, right? That was the attitude and impression because of the teachings. And so we had to spend time talking about, no, we need to be ready to have to flee. We need to be ready to have to fight and stand for holiness. You have to be ready for that, because it's not going to necessarily be easy up until we transition out of here. That's not a true depiction of what's written.
Right. And for me, you don't lose anything to prepare. You don't lose anything to make provision for that. And if anything, you're teaching it and you're putting things in place and into practice so that your children will see it and they can teach their children and they can teach their children. So, my father was, he taught me a lot of things. So some of what my husband is saying and what he is implementing is not new or foreign to me, because my father was a man that prepared. My father was a man that tried to have and make provision for the future, or should a stressful or an emergency type of situation happen, his family would be able to survive. His family would have something to fall back on. We didn't have to worry about, oh no, we have nothing, what are we going to do? We would last for a little while. So I think it's important to teach that on. It can't hurt you. If nothing comes of it, now it's going to be passed on from next to the next generation if it gets that far.
And we do not teach fear. We don't believe in being afraid. Right. Once again, we believe in being prepared for what we do have to go through. We're not afraid as children of God. We're not afraid, but we do know that we are going to have to go through some things and persecution. It's even biblical. It's biblical, where the apostles, for going out and doing what they were taught and commanded to do by Jesus, that they got beat and they got threatened for speaking on his name, for continuing on with those teachings. And when they were beaten, interrogated, and released, they went back to where they were and they started sharing the stories of what happened. And then it hit them like, oh yeah, but we got beat and we got threatened and they told us don't do it again or else. So they were very much afraid. And then they had to pray that fear away.
Yeah.
They prayed, and the Bible says the earth shook, and they received boldness and power to continue to do what they need to do. So that's the type of preparation that we need to have, with an awareness and understanding. It's not going to stay easy. It's going to be a fight to continue to be a Christian, a real Christian, a person of faith in Christianity. So these dreams were warnings and wake-up calls, and a lot of what we see is stagnation, mundane attitude, a lukewarm attitude in the church, because it's going through the motions, as if we're all good and we go to service and one day he's going to crack the sky, we're going to be gone, and then all of the mess is going to hit. And that's just not the way that we're getting it. So we want to put it out there so people will know what is happening. The warnings is there, and we don't have to be afraid, because he tells us so that we can be prepared and do what we have to do to make it through this time. So that's it for today. Tune in tomorrow. There's more dreams. I got more guests that are coming on to share their dreams. Once we finish out the dream week, there's more content that I'm going to be putting out there to share with you. So please subscribe so that you won't miss it. Till next time.
Bye, everybody.